Holidays can be really tough for so many people and for so many different reasons, but it can be especially difficult for those who are divorced and trying to navigate co-parenting. Lawyer and author of the collaborative co-parent, Gabriella Pomare, says it doesn't have to be a bad experience. She joins us with some tips. Gabriella, first of all, thanks for joining us on this Friday here.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. All right, I really want to jump right into this because so many people are experiencing this. Talk about communication. You're saying that people can communicate without the big blow-ups.
Absolutely. I think the reality is communication post-separation really needs to be conflict-free, and you need to take the emotion out of it. So in my book, I talk about 4 pillars of communication. So stop, pause, listen, and then respond. And the idea really is to take a step back and really listen to what your co-parent's saying. And the pause is the big part. Go away. It might be a couple of minutes or it might be a couple of days, but that's where that real conflict and emotion comes out of it. You can think about how you're going to respond and go back with respect and positivity.
All right, I'm curious, what are some of the main challenges and the big arguments that many co-parents are experiencing during this time?
I mean, Christmas brings nostalgia with it. It brings grief, and that's normal. So the main thing is don't respond to your co-parent while you're emotional. Press that pause and then reply. And things that parents tend to argue about are the plans, where children are going to be and when. So do I get Christmas lunch or do I get Christmas Eve? And gift giving tends to be a really big point of conflict over the holiday period. Parents tend to compete. Who can get the bigger and the better present? Who can give that child the bigger and better experience? And that's something we really need to avoid, because children notice tension, they notice conflict, and that doesn't serve them best over the holiday period. They need predictability, safety, and fun.
You know, you hit a really good point there. Kids are really always listening, and I think a lot of times people underestimate children and what they soak in. How do you do all of this without damaging or adding that extra stress and trauma for the children?
Yeah, I think every decision you make needs to be made through that child lens. Before you do anything, you need to ask yourself, will this make Christmas come for my children, or will it create tension immediately? So first thing is, don't use your child as a messenger. They should not be the person that's going between both parents to work out these Christmas or holiday arrangements. That's really important. Secondly, don't involve the children in adult discussions, in conflict. Keep them out of that. Don't speak negatively about the co-parent in front of the children. I think we as adults tend to want to sit around, the table at Christmas Day or, other holidays, and we want to gossip, we want to talk about affairs or the conflict, and our children overhear that, and that really ruins the holiday for them. So they're sort of the main things we need to keep at the forefront of our minds.
All right, I'm curious. You said there are 3 words that every co-parent should say. What are those 3 words?
Be child focused. It is so important. We forget that as adults. We make the holidays about ourselves. That adult conflict, what's happened in the past, that emotion, the grief. But if we're child focused, every decision we make will eventually be a positive one.
All right, so there are many people out there who I'm sure are listening. They say, I've tried all of this, I've tried to be calm, and it just doesn't work. What happens if they just simply won't cooperate, they won't get along, they won't listen? What is your advice to them?
Look, there will always be a parenting or a co-parenting relationship where one person isn't pulling their weight or they just don't want to, get along. But the reality is you can then put in place the boundaries that serve you best. So a lot of people put in place different rules. Like one might be, I don't text after 7 o'clock because I know that, any text that comes late at night is going to be high conflict. Another one might be a bit more, be flexible. So I know it's difficult. I know we want to plan and we want everything in place, but we need a bit of flexibility over that holiday period. Christmas doesn't always fall neatly into the parenting plan. So a bit of flexibility avoids conflict. It makes the day smoother. Things like that help us get along a little bit better and makes that co-parenting relationship a little bit easier.
All right, 2 more points before we have to go there. What about those kids who have to go between homes? They might be used to being with all the family together for 1 year, then the next year they're split between 2 different houses. What are some things that make them settled or feel like home or feel like it usually is for that holiday season?
Yeah, I think the most important part is to give your kids that emotional permission to enjoy both homes. That is so important. I can't tell you that strongly enough. You need to tell your children you're allowed to have fun at mum's or dad's, whoever it might be. And that really removes that loyalty pressure and it helps a child settle quicker between homes. They know they're allowed, they know their parents are okay with them transitioning between homes. Another really important part is trying to keep traditions alive between homes. So you might have had old family traditions when you're an intact family. Try and keep some of them as they go between homes, a similar ornament, a story you might have told, or a recipe you may have cooked, and then create new traditions amongst those two homes as well.
Yeah, really good advice there. Okay, I'm going to leave on a spicy note. Introducing a new step parent or a new partner into the relationship can be tricky as well. What are some of the tips that you have if dad has a new girlfriend, mom has a new boyfriend? How can you introduce them during this holiday time?
Look, between you and I don't know that introducing a new boyfriend or girlfriend at the Christmas time is ideal, but if you do, it's important to keep it supportive and child-focused. Step parents ultimately play a really valuable role, but they don't and they shouldn't really lead decisions. Their job isn't to discipline, it's to support the child and not replace the other parent. They've got to be that other person who's now providing love and stability and safety, not the new parent within the home. And I think that's what's most important. And keep that introduction and that new relationship child paced. Check in with your child, have discussions, see how they're feeling about the situations, and be guided by them and their emotions.
Gabriella Pomare, thanks so much for joining us. Some tips I think you can use the holiday time, you can use it in the summertime, anytime as well. Thank you so much. You can pick up her copy of her book, The Collaborative Co-Parent, Co-Parenting Made Dignified, Simple, and Collaborative. It is out now.